Hello learners, welcome to TryWrite. Today we will be going to this wrapper classes. So in Java, an object wrapper class is an object representation of the primitive data types. There we have the data types as int, byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean. So int for integers, these are the sets. So int is a primitive data type, and integers is the wrapper class representation of that integer data type. The wrap primitive the wrap primitive value inside a inside an object. So it can be used as an object. So for this, where objects are not required, so we can wrap always includes all this wrap all this in primitive types into object, and where objects are not required. So finally, using this wrapper class, we don't have to require any object for this. So primitive data types, and when they are converted to different, for here we will converting all the primitive data types, and finally the conversion will be of object type. So why use these wrapper classes? The For collections, yeah, Java collections. For collections such as Java collections, array list, they cannot store primitive data types. Array list cannot store primitive data types. For these collections includes all these data types. And object methods. Wrapper classes provides method like int value. These methods are provided by the object methods. These methods are provided by the for the object methods as integer value, int values, parse int. These are the methods that object methods are using. And autoboxing and unboxing. Now Java auto converts all the primitive and wrappers. For this we have autoboxing and unboxing. Now, these type conversions, the conversions that are usually taking place in strings and numbers. For this conversion, there are type conversion also here in the wrapper classes. Now there are a list of wrapper class. Here's to this we come as we come here. We will be going through a different list that wrapper classes form. For the byte primitive drive type, there is byte, capital B byte as a wrapper class. Small byte, small b byte, and capital B byte here. And now for short, we have the short, and for int, we have the integer, and for the long, we have the long, and for the float, we have the float. But here, all the first word is in uppercase letter. We have the double with small d and capital D double, which is the wrapper class. Now, char for similarly for characters, char is usually used for characters, and boolean with boolean as capital B, as this is the wrapper class. Now, moving further, we are creating wrapper classes, wrapper objects. Now, for creating wrapper objects, we have the integer ob1 object one. We have the integer named as ob1 obj1, which follows new integer 100. We are forming a wrapper class. We are forming a wrapper class creating objects for wrapper objects with 100 values in the objects. Suppose 100, and this was the old way of practice earlier, and now the new way, there is new way. Integer obj equals new integer dot value of is the new way, new value of which is given as 100, which we are giving 100, and now this is the preferred way also. Earlier, this was the older way. Earlier way was older way. Creating this object, we have to write new, and now we don't have to write now new. Instead of that, we will write integer dot value of directly here. And since now recently that is the most primitive and most frequently used, so it's the preferred way. Now, what is coming out to autoboxing and unboxing? Using autoboxing, suppose there is an object of integer type, yeah, having the value 10, having 10, and there is, so here there is auto conversion of int to integer directly, because this object, this value of int value will be directly converted to this integer value, will be directly converted to this integer, which is of wrapper object, yeah, directly converted. This int value 50 will be directly converted to this integer value. Now auto unboxing. Suppose we are unboxing from integer to int value. For this, we have the variable int x, and this value object value. This will be automatically converted to an integer value. Yeah, integer value will be directly converted to a int value. Integer value will be directly converted to this wrapper class to the primitive data type. So directly convert. Now the common methods in wrapper classes. There are different methods also used in wrapper classes. For integer which is a wrapper class, for integer which is a wrapper class, we have the method. We have the method as parseInt. ParseInt in parentheses we have the string 2. We have the string parseInt of its string type and int value within compare to and toString. These are the methods that this integer wrapper class uses. Now for this double, we have the parse double of integer value data type and double value, and this double value. Yeah. Now Boolean. This Boolean also uses some of the methods as parse Boolean. Parse Boolean of the string data type. Yeah. String data type and Boolean value. Boolean value. Yeah. These are the methods that are there that Boolean uses. For example, we have the suppose we have a class public class wrapper example. It's a class name as public wrapper example, and we have following the main method line which has the main method line, and we have integer value integer a. So this value a is having value of 10. Now when we convert this into a wrapper class data type of integer suppose integer object equals a. This is autoboxing. Yeah, why? Because it's directly converting this into integer, directly converting this int value to this integer value. We are converting here the int value to this integer object value. Yeah, so it is autoboxing. As finally we will printing system or println object in the message plus the obj. We are converting this integer value to this object type. So this obj will have the value of integer object. Yeah, so finally we have now next move we will be moving integer b. This is a wrapper class. This is a wrapper class data type, and this is the b variable having value of 20. Now, suppose we are converting this object type integer object to int value. For this, we will be this integer value b will be converted to this int value. This is unboxing. This is unboxing. And so finally coming on to here, we will be printing it system.out.println system.out.println and primitive. This is a message plus the value which we have converted, and finally the value will be returned is value of c. Yeah. Now we know all these things. Fine. And now the wrapper classes there are difference between wrapper and primitive type also. Now coming here we have the features as where these classes are stored. Classes and values are stored. So wrapper class, so for the primitive types, storage value for the primitive type is in stack, storage value for this primitive type is stack, and for the wrapper class it is in a heap. Null values are not allowed in the primitive types. Primitive type cannot have null value, and wrapper classes can have null value. Yeah, because these are conversion of integer to integer into integer, and so they have they can accept null values also. Now used in conversions, so these primitive types are not required for conversion. Where the wrapper classes are required. Yeah, we can acquire the wrapper classes for the conversions and methods. For primitive data types, we don't require any method. We don't require any methods. And for the wrapper classes, yeah, we can require the method like parseInt. Yeah, like parseInt. Yeah, compared to string value to string. So exact. And moving further, we have the useful cases that conversion useful cases that string str. Suppose we have a string data type and str is a variable having the value 1 to 3 having the value double to 3. Because it's of string type, so we'll be writing the double quotes within the double quotes, this value within the double quotes. Now int num, suppose there is a value that integer data types having value num equals integer dot parseInt. This will convert all the parseInt values to the integer data type, and it will convert the string to a string integer int. Yeah, likewise I told this will convert all the string to integer value. Yeah. Now finally coming to the output system.println and this number plus 10. Yeah, number plus 10. When this value will be converted to an integer value, we can convert we can add 10 to it. Num plus 10. Here all the converted value will be 1 to 3 plus 10, 20, 1 to 1, 3, 3. So here we read about the wrapper classes, which allow primitive values to be used as object. Primitive values which are being used as an object, and they are essential for working in for collections, because this integer which is a collection of all int value. Uh, so they are used for using collections, generics, and data conversion also. And they require they handles our conversions and as also autoboxing and unboxing. They can be directly uh, converted or can be manually converted. So they help us in conversions like autoboxing and unboxing. Now thank you. We will meet in the next class.